Our co-host on this wonderful Wednesday morning is the Admiral Bill Stubblefield, navigating the waters as a solo captain today. I was about to say earlier that you were flying solo, but you're a waters guy, Bill. I can't have you flying.
Yeah, but you left out a word. Troubled waters.
Troubled waters.
When we're around the table, it's troubled, Rob.
Well, you are an admiral. You are skilled at navigating those waters.
With rocks and shoals and ice, and penguins, it's pretty frightening out there.
Have you ever decided to put your thoughts down into a book of all your stories navigating the seven seas? It would be a fascinating read.
Someone suggested that to me the other day, and I went home and immediately spent about 30 minutes doing it, and I got bored and went to something else. So I don't know if it will.
You got to get yourself one of those ghostwriters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you got to have right
Actually, I did have something like that a couple of years ago. A lady from NOAA was captioning the Living Books sort of series, and I guess I spent a couple of weeks being interviewed by her over the telephone. So there's a document out there that captures a lot of it.
Oh, I would like to read that. Yeah. If you have access to it, send it to me.
I'm hoping I can get it reduced to more readable. I realize when I listen to something like that, there's a lot of oohs. Unless you have a professional broadcaster such as yourself, we're cursed with
editing,
not having
Bill.
Editing.
Yeah. That's where a guy like
me
requires
a lot of editing.
Editing. Our guest on the program in this segment, Kris Warner. He is the Secretary of State of West Virginia and currently traveling, as I understand, along I-68. Kris, good morning. Thank you for being with us, sir.
And also troubled waters there, too, Kris.
Hey, I was thinking about you, Admiral, yesterday. We the ladies were there from the Stubblefield Institute at the Entrepreneurship Conference, but we had a great day, and I'm glad you're on this morning. Rob, good to talk to you, too.
Well, thank you. You mentioned the ladies. There's some very talented ladies that are associated with the Institute at Shepherd. So
they are, and they were working it hard yesterday. So they're holding the name up high, and things were very good yesterday. Just left inspired by the whole Entrepreneurs Conference, which is part of Bridging Innovation, a beautiful campus, and had time with Mary, the president. We had a great day yesterday.
Had you been to the Entrepreneur Conference prior to this year, Kris?
I hadn't, but I've heard Mike Queen and Brother Mac talk about the work and being a founding member. Secretary of State's office was a founding member of the Entrepreneurs Conference, and we're going to remain because it is very important that we, hold high and honor the entrepreneurs that create probably more than 90% of the workforce in West Virginia being entrepreneurs and small business owners.
Yeah, it's a wonderful concept, and I'm sorry, except for being with Rob this morning, I would have been at the breakfast today. I think they've got a very good group assembling for breakfast.
They've got, today and tomorrow they will be giving away $200,000 during the pitch contest for both students and adults alike. So it's, I'm sorry I'm missing these 2 days, but we have activities and events down in Huntington. We've got a company that's expanding that we actually worked on while we were back at the Economic Development Authority. So we're going to focus on business expansion in Cabell County today.
Very nice. And, Bill, by the way, if you're missing breakfast, there are day-old donuts in the kitchen. You're welcome to help yourself during the commercial break.
I'd rather have been at breakfast with Kris than your day. But, Kris, I'm sure we'll be talking about some of the other activities, but thanks very much for taking the time to come to the Eastern Panhandle and being involved with the Entrepreneur Symposium.
I got to tell you, we truly I told him yesterday, it was the most uplifting, inspiring day that I've had since I've been Secretary of State and carrying out official duties. But, I think of two young people. One young lady's a senior in high school at Hedgesville. Her partner graduated last year. They're in the car detailing business, and they had taken profits and purchased a food truck. And they said they had just finished renovations on the food truck. So here you got somebody that's a high school senior and a recent high school graduate, and they've already got their first two businesses going. So it was being able to meet people like that, and there were probably 350 people there yesterday. It's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to learn more about the things they're interested in, whether it's financing and funding or mentorship or business coaching. It's a great organization, and they really put on a show yesterday.
Kris, I don't want to take away from the interview, but you mentioned your brother earlier, and with Stubblefield Institute, a story that I like to tell. Just before COVID, Max was talking to a group of high school seniors, the best and the brightest from all 4 states were assembled at Shepherd for part of the Institute. They were given a challenge, and the challenge was, what would you advise the President of the United States if there was a pandemic that hit? Literally within 2 weeks' time, COVID became recognized. So they had an opportunity to provide advice before there was a recognized problem.
Wow. I did not know that. Thanks for relating the story.
Secretary of State Kris Warner, our guest here on the program. Kris, in regards to what you just attended at Shepherd University, what are the differences between that and the incubator system for businesses you were doing in the 90s around the Morgantown area?
Well, the big difference is, in the 90s, there wasn't the help that is available now. Literally, in fact, somebody mentioned that was about my age at the conference. In the 90s, the private business and enterprise centers that we had in Philippi and Kaiser and Morgantown had no help, zero help, and no dollars from the government, and they succeeded. And now there's business coaching help, free business coaching help through the SBDC. There's help with financing and funding through USDA Rural Development, the West Virginia Economic Development Authority. There's just so much help. I mean, even in our own office, we've rolled out a solo chat bot that stands for single online location, where 24/7, if you're thinking about opening a business and you've got questions about how to file, we have done the research. It's kind of like AI for just West Virginia, and you're going to get a specific answer to your specific question. Anything to do with entrepreneurs and small business owners and filing or registering or filing your annual report, you can get that information, and you're going to get the same answer to the same question, whether it's asked today or 2 months from now. And we got to talk about that yesterday. Also, we have something called virtual appointments, where you can schedule an appointment with one of our business specialists and schedule a 30-minute conversation to ask questions. And then if you don't get it all done, let's say on your lunch hour, and you have to schedule again a week or two from now, you can schedule with the very same business specialist. And that's something that we don't typically see in government. You might be used to it in private enterprise, but this is very different in government. And that's those are just some of the things that are there now to help entrepreneurs and encourage small business owners.
Kris, House Bill 2002, one-stop shopping, was that directed towards your office? Would your office be as involved in that as any other part of the government?
That was not one of we already have our West Virginia one-stop business center. That was an initiative of the governor's, and we want to be helpful, and we want to do anything that we can to assist. But that was more with licensing. We're focused on business registration. But if we can end up being helpful there, we want to be helpful. And so we're waiting for direction to see if we can be helpful to the governor's office.
Let's talk about this Jefferson County situation with this case with this woman that your office was involved in with rooting out some fraud. Kris, what can you tell us detail-wise?
Again, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But what our business division working with a banker where the woman tried to start a bank account, it became obvious that she had taken a document issued by the Secretary of State's office with our signature on it and had altered that document and created another document in an effort to fraudulently open up a bank account. I think our business folks were on it immediately with the bank, and they turned the information over. And very proud of the Jefferson County prosecutor for carrying that forward to the grand jury, and they returned 3 felony indictments, 2 for forgery, and then 1 for uttering. So taking that forged document and offering that up to the bank as the basis for starting an account. So, whether it's on the election side and there's cheating that goes on, we're going to go after it, investigate it, and prosecute. And the case is the same on the business side of the house. If you're on forged business documents and act fraudulently, then we're going to go after you as well there.
On the business side, is this a matter of the people at the bank being trained to recognize a potentially fake document, or was there something else along the way that tipped them as to the potential fraudulent nature of this transaction?
I think this is just a matter of professionals doing what they do best, meaning that the bankers were trained. Our business division is trained that when we get a question about that we were questioned about a business that didn't exist, and they checked the records very quickly. I think everybody moved very fast on this, and so it was a combination. And then to get the investigative unit on it and put it, we have investigators within 2 hours of any place in the state. So having an investigator that was able to jump on it quickly, go see the documents, and then a prosecutor, quite frankly, that felt that this was important and needed to be carried forward. There was a seated grand jury, and they were able to, again, move quickly and get their jobs done. So professionals all the way around.
Kris, the session's over. There's been some mixed reviews, success of the sessions. I know that you had certain bills that you were hoping to go through. Were you satisfied with the session, and what were the some of your wishes that did not materialize?
We were very pleased, but we can always do better. And I just mentioned there. Almost 2,500 bills are introduced during a legislative session. 249 bills passed this legislative session, so about a 10% success rate all the way around of the bills that we supported out of the Secretary of State's office that, quite frankly, originated in our office and then had legislative support. We were at 57% a passage rate. We still have a couple bills we're waiting on the governor to sign. One being photo ID. Again, right now you got 17 different forms of paper identification for someone to register to vote and vote. And we feel that you need to have a photo identification, whether it's a military ID, a passport, or most people have West Virginia driver's licenses with a picture. So again, waiting for the governor to sign that bill. One of the ones that we didn't get passed was an election transparency bill. And I don't want to dive down too far in the weeds, but it's a matter of if a candidate has a federal political action committee and they're transferring money to a state candidate committee, we wanted to provide more transparency and make sure that the law was applying to everyone the same, whether you're contributing to a candidate or whether you're contributing to a candidate and a federal PAC. And that didn't get passed. The governor fought that, and we're going to have to find a way to get that back because people deserve to know where money is coming from in their elections, and no one should be the exception on that.
What were the chief objections to that bill, Kris? Do you know?
I think there was a concern about referring to a leadership PAC. And so, again, there shouldn't be, I mean, in my estimation, there shouldn't be any objection when we're trying to be as transparent as possible helping people that want to know where a candidate's money is coming from. I think we'd all be better off, quite frankly, if we did away with what we all refer to as dark money and just say you can accept contributions from anywhere, but you got to report them immediately within 24 hours. But that's a decision for the legislature. We're going to follow through and carry out whatever the legislature decides. That was more of a personal opinion there.
I agree with you on that one, by the way.
Yeah, we all do, yeah. Were there any bills that passed that you were working against, Kris, or unhappy that they passed?
I don't think we were working against any bills. We on the photo ID bill, we had to adjust to get it through the legislature. We thought it was important to somehow note on that identification if they were a non-citizen. We have about 7,000 to 8,000 non-citizens that also have driver's licenses that are not able to vote in our elections. We have the responsibility of training up over 8,500 poll workers statewide. Some of them are older, and so if there's a clear identification that someone is a non-citizen or non-voter, that should be clearly identifiable on their West Virginia driver's license. But that didn't pass, so we went back to just let's get photo ID this year, and then we'll work harder next year to educate the legislators about how important it is to clearly identify who is a non-citizen.
Yeah. Shifting gears very quickly, what's your predecessor doing these days, your brother?
Mac is now the Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Department of Justice, and was actually, until Harmeet Dillon was approved by the U.S. Senate, was over top of the entire Civil Rights Division for the Department of Justice. But he is now managing 5 Deputy Assistant Attorney Generals right underneath Pam Bondi in D.C. So I know he'd rather be in West Virginia, but this was second best. He gets to put all of his expertise and all of his years in law school and teaching law to work for the U.S. Department of Justice.
Well, good for him.
I'll tell him you ask about it.
Please do. Yes, he's. We always enjoyed visiting with Mac, either on the radio or in social events, whatever the case may be. He was,
and his wife's rum cake too, Kris.
And his wife's rum cake. That's right.
That was
I got to try doing better than that. I know you put me to the test, but I didn't make it by this time. So next time we'll either bring fresh donuts or something better than rum cake.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. She put a lot of rum in that rum cake, by the way. Hey, let's circle back to entrepreneurship here, Kris, before we lose you here. Marshall University, between July 11 and July 20, is having the West Virginia Governor's School of Entrepreneurship, and this is open to 9th, 10th, and 11th graders in the state. And I know that your office was also involved in promoting this and getting this information out. Can you give us more information on this?
I wish I had more information on that. I can just tell you this. Brad Smith is doing a fabulous job as the president of Marshall University. So I know that if Brad and Marshall University are involved, this will be a top-notch opportunity, and I look forward to being able to join him there during that week.
Yeah, that's a great point. And when I saw this was going to be at Marshall, I thought, well, this is a perfect marriage here. If you're going to get high schoolers involved in entrepreneurship, go through Marshall. This is a great opportunity for these young people, and maybe they end up going to Marshall to pursue their dreams.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they wouldn't be unhappy about that. I just got to tell you, outside of Brad Smith and Marshall University and what they are doing for entrepreneurship in the state, President Smith has made so many trips back to Silicon Valley, across the country with President Gee from WVU and the leadership in the House and the Senate. He's just been tremendous in opening up his Rolodex. And that continues, and West Virginia will benefit from that. So really appreciative of the leadership that Brad and his wife Elise have offered there at Marshall University. So I can tell you this will be world class for the entrepreneurs that are able to attend that conference.
Kris and I agree with you totally with Brad, but I also like to extend that to the other presidents of various universities. We in the Eastern Panhandle, we're blessed with Mary Hendricks and also Pete Chekovich. So it's some phenomenal leaders in our education system right now.
Yeah, Shepherd and Blue Ridge, respectively.
Yeah, Mary, we had a good time chatting yesterday, and with entrepreneurs, she is just so engaged, and talking about being inspired. You can't talk to Mary at an entrepreneurs a conference without leaving inspired, and that's exactly what we did yesterday with her at the entrepreneurship conference.
Kris, the situation will circle back again to Jefferson County and that situation there with the potentially fraudulent business opening. Is that something that's common around the state, or is this a one-off?
I don't want to say that it's commonplace, but there are so many cases that our investigative unit investigates. And quite frankly, we turn over quite a bit of information to prosecutors, and they choose not to prosecute. And we found that on, cheating as it relates to elections. We just had a case down in Cabell County where two women lied about their location of where they were filing their candidate form, and we presented the information, had to go to 3 different prosecutors to get them to carry this forward. It went to the grand jury. We came back. They were going to be defendants, and for whatever reason, the judge threw it out and said the statute of limitations has expired. We didn't understand it that way. We think the way our attorneys read the law that it was 5 years, not 2 years. So we're anxious to see, why the judge decided to throw that out when we get those, written comments. So we do that. It just means that it doesn't make the news if it's not prosecuted, to the fullest extent. So it does happen, and it happens, several times per year. We're going to continue to stay on top of it, and when the prosecutors determine that it's worthy of prosecuting, they can choose to do that. We don't have the ability in West Virginia to prosecute from the Secretary of State's office, and that's left up to the local prosecutors. So,
on that note, Kris, I appreciate your time this morning and wish you safe travels, sir.
Hey, thank you all very much. Look forward to being with you again soon.
Thanks, Kris.
Thank you.
Secretary of State Kris Warner, thanks to Mike Queen for helping to set that up as we take our break here. And welcome back a friend from our days gone by, Deborah Hammond.
A very good friend, very close friend.
More to come.